Hello, welcome back, folks. Thanks for hanging in there with us, getting some tech issues resolved over the break. But in case you missed the first map, Howard University versus Texas State University, going, I would consider it fairly dominantly on Lotus towards Texas State. Sir Waltham and Miggs here once again. Miggs, any remaining thoughts over that last map?
Yeah, Texas State looks good. They look composed, and Howard needs to find a way to, on this map, take map control early and stick with it. So that's my thoughts on it, but we are going into Haven, so completely different map. Howard can reset. It is their map pick, so we'll see how it goes.
Now, I'll acknowledge, I'm sometimes a little bit of a Danny Downer here, Miggs, but if you're Howard and you saw the performance you had on Haven last week, I think we talked about the scoreline a little bit at the beginning of this cast, but they were, what, 3-13? 4-13, I believe is what it was on Haven. Them's not good numbers, and this was their map pick. I'm sure that Howard has the reasons, even if it just comes down to we want to play Haven a little bit. But it's curious to me that that's the map they decide to go with, when there's still half the lineup available.
Yeah, it was personally a head scratcher for me. They let Bind be the decider when they lost 11-13 against UConn last week, and so now they chose Haven. So interested to see. They might have cooked up some strats. They might have been able to watch their VOD back, just talk about it, see where they went wrong, and be able to use that and have a good game plan going into this week. So it's definitely one map. 1 week is not going to change your perspective on a map. So it's definitely going to be a way for Howard to kind of be in a state of this is our week. So
we have an opportunity here to see once again the rosters or the compositions coming out for these teams. And personally, just based off of what we saw on Lotus, the player I'm going to kind of be keeping sharper eyes out for, particularly on Howard, is going to be Neviage. I feel like that Viper was one of the Achilles heels of that team, particularly not being on their site as consistently enough or not looking like they know how they want to set up to defend their site. And starting off on defense, if Neviage does go with the Viper again, I would not be surprised if it's something that Texas State can suss out and eventually capitalize on in their advantage.
Yeah, Neviage needs to use Viper and her wall just a little bit differently. They, on their defense on Lotus, that same wall went out every round, and Howard didn't really do anything with it in the early round. They could have went for map control, and even when they did, they would leave one player, which was Ballin, out to dry when they were able to take Rebel control. So I'm curious to see if they can change up how they utilize the Viper in this map. We are going to see basically the same comp, except for Jet replacing the Rays, which on Haven makes sense. As for Texas State, gonna be changing it up slightly with the Jet and now the Sova. Sova, very good on Haven, able to get those lineups, able to play the post plants, and it should be interesting going in. I'm curious to see how Howard plays around the Viper, because it wasn't utilized properly in the last map, and I want to see more ways that Howard can utilize the wall and the orb in order to cut off the choke points for Texas State.
And of course, it all starts here on this, our first round of pistols. We're going to have an opportunity to see, potential buys coming through for these teams. I can see already Kenny Cosmic looking like they're lining up with some armor and abilities rather than, getting their gun any more firepower. Maynard going to be doing about the same. And right now, the attackers looking like they're leaning towards that A push, and the Viper wall going right down the middle, but this is not what I like to see. That C site very exposed to potentially not having any defenders there.
Yeah, the Omen leaning towards A early in the round. It could be a read, but there is no smokes if Texas State were to go over to C, but it is the right read right now. 3-stack towards A bomb. Drone's gonna go out and get a hit, and Chief is gonna take down the first one, but Ballin gonna get a trade, but that's traded right away. 3-on-3. 3-on-4, sorry.
3-on-4 so far, still looking very good for Texas State, and Howard, we see They Miss Me trying to creep up, get some of that map control. It's going to be the Cloudburst coming through, and They Miss Me has an opportunity to get a timing here, but can't quite connect the shots. That is so painful. Now they know that there's one behind them, and information's going to be so valuable. Maybe only the sky that's unknown, but again, we talked about that C being cracked wide open like a hard-boiled egg, and it's going to be the capitalization coming in from Texas State.
Yeah, Texas State gonna get the spike down, 4-on-2. It's gonna be really tough for Howard to get back into this one. They know this. They Miss Me is now down long. Sky, Kenny Cosmic, not anywhere to be found right now. And it's a 1-on-4.
And I feel like if there's one person from the side of Howard that we're seeing kind of not hit these sites as proficiently, it's this Sky player. It's Kenny. It feels like Kenny's always the last person to die, not because, you know, they're hitting it at the same time with their team, but because they just take a little bit longer to rotate, or the communication's not there for their team to wait before the push with Kenny.
Yeah, and I mean, I understand not trying to make any noise coming in for the retake, but eventually, like, your teammate has found out at that point, you just have to try and win the gunfights. You have to be confident in your aim. Valorant, yes, there's a lot about abilities, but a lot of it comes down to aim at the end of the day. And if you're not confident in your aim and not able to swing, then you're going to have a rough day. So, first round going to Texas State, 5 Spectre is going to come out, and Howard's just going to be on pistols.
I do like that from Howard, though. I don't think that the force up that we saw with them on Lotus was necessarily working in their favor. They Miss Me immediately going to be feeling some pressure and backing up. And then taking a teleport onto high, keeping the guesses having to come through from Texas State. But Texas State looks like they're fairly, you know, shy towards C at the current moment, although we've seen them constantly change up their strategy based on what kind of information they can gather. And Texas State actually looking quite slow here, maybe a little bit different of an eye check than we've seen from them before.
Yeah, Texas State's been taking, on Lotus, they especially took it, a bomb site pretty quickly, but Haven is a different map, and there is a lot closer angles, especially going into these bomb sites, so especially in these eco rounds where you're not entirely sure where Howard's going to be, definitely want to take these a little slower. Recon Bolt's going to come out, not going to spot anything, so Texas State can just walk into the bomb site, get the spike down, and 5v5 retake.
And Aaron all the way down there at the attacker's spawn, just holding very carefully, might be waiting for, you know, some of those lurks or the wraparound, but not quite finding anything, and I believe that means they also don't get that post-plant opportunity to set up with those swarm grenades, with that alarm bot potentially. Instead, it's going to be a nice fault line coming through, and Okran able to take down 2 with it. Huge utilization of the abilities there, perhaps a bit too telegraphed from the defenders in Howard.
Yeah, I mean, full eco, just had pistols, just kind of try and see if you can get a couple kills, but that fault line kind of messes up everything that Howard was trying to go for. So going in, we do have a full gun round. Excuse me, we have a bonus round coming in from Texas State. Full guns coming out from Howard, so hopefully they can get one on the board here, but got to make sure that Texas State isn't able to just walk on the C-bomb site, and They Miss Me is going to be defending it, so looking good here early.
Yeah, but They Miss Me only has that judge, so there's no long-range rifles to put that pressure down, and the Jet actually dashing right through They Miss Me as they peer through that smoke, and They Miss Me swinging around getting 3 with that judge. Spike goes down as well. That means that Sova's on a lonely mission.
Yeah, Sova left in a 1-on-5, low HP. Luke gonna get taken down by They Miss Me. That's a 4K with the judge. Great timing by Miss Me, able to get into the smoke as the Jet dash on the site, completely unaware. Texas State had no idea what they were running into there, and like I said, gotta get this round was one that Howard had to win, and they won it. So now we are going into our official first full gun round, and hopefully Howard can build a little bit on that momentum. That was a very clean round.
Yeah, and another thing I'll compliment about Howard right now, we're seeing the change-ups already. No more Omen in that garage. Now it's going to be Omen on that short They Miss Me. Lining up with a couple more members, that Viper and the Jet. This could be very dangerous. Very little smokes if both of these players go down. That drone's going to be coming through. And the read's coming in, but They Miss Me. And doing the teleport, getting 3. Wow, and
What a great TP. I want to say the drone saw the TP coming in from Omen, but was not aware of where the TP was actually going. The Paranoia gonna get Okarin. It's gonna push him back just a little bit, but yeah, great play from They Miss Me, and 3-on-1 now for Howard.
And Okarin, knowing that that judge is right at the entry of the smoke, going to be so hard. They, of course, use that guiding light on the back end of the smoke, and then inside to know exactly where that breach might be postured up. Kai going to be taking advantage of Okarin's seeming laser focus towards that spike.
Yeah, it had me a little scared there once the guiding light missed on the first time around, but the second one into the smoke. Gets the information. Okarin dead to rights after that. And Howard ties it up at 2. And looking a little stronger here on Haven defense. Howard might have learned a little from playing UConn last week and putting Texas State a little bit on their backs here.
I mean, Howard's already had half the performance in 4 rounds that they had within 17 or however many in the UConn matchup. So certainly looking better. To clarify that, but Kai going to be getting the first kill. A nice advantage for Howard University coming through there. Not going to be lasting for too long as They Miss Me. Taken down by Okarin. Eventually, those judge shenanigans have to come to an end, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm noticing Howard is really starting to take these early aggro peaks, and it's really catching Texas State off. And if they keep utilizing, just focusing on one specific part of the map, try and go for an early pick off one. Ballin just picks off Aaron. And Neviaj gets Chief. And just like that, like, Texas State is not, they do not know what to do. They lose one, they lose the advantage, and then everything grinds to a halt. Ballin spotted. Yeah, Ballin spotted him. Oh, misses the shot.
Oh, and this is a second as well. Okarin going to be throwing out those abilities, trying to force out that op and ideally pull it from the hands of that Jet player, but the information's going to be there. Kai's not able to take advantage of it, though. Neviaj will be doing it, however, and keeping the operator in hand, and Balling pulling out the operator, that tells me about the confidence levels of Howard right now.
Yeah, we didn't see the op a single time. Granted, Ballin was on the raise, and typically, if you do not have a Jet, or a Neon, as I've seen as of late. Typically, the KJ will pull out the op, or a Chamber if they were to have one, but Ballin on the op now, so interested to see what they're able to do with it, but was able to get one, missed a couple shots after, so just warm it up just a little bit maybe, but 3rd round on the board for Howard.
And I was prepared to not give Howard any credit. I was about to say, the judge maneuvers looked like set plays, or they look like, niche, jokey kind of things that just catch your opponent off guard. But no, that second round looked very excellent, even with the Omen going down very early on. Neviaj take it out, though, perhaps pushing a bit too far away from those bricks. Chief able to pull back the knives after a second kill with them. And be keeping eyes and clears out hell, making sure that there's no defenders remaining there. Picking up a weapon as well, walking away with something nice for themselves. They Miss Me certainly gonna know where that shots are coming from, but not gonna be able to suss out Okarin. And that's going to be fatal. Ballin has to be very careful. They could easily lose the operator here.
Yeah, 2-on-5. You just got spotted by the recon bolt. And now, if I'm Howard here, I want to save. I want to save these guns, keep the economy in check. And that's exactly what they're going to do. Let Texas State have the round. Don't offer up anything else. Great 2 entries there by Chief to open up the A bomb site, but I do have to say, again, Kenny Cosmic, not in a position to trade Neviaj there, which is like, wait, oh,
that's tough.
Chief gonna take down Ballin, and that op is gone. Kai is gonna take down Chief, so the op is not able to be retrieved, actually.
Oh, it is.
Gonna get retrieved by Kai instead of Texas State, so op is gonna get brought into the next round. But yeah, I mean, Kenny just needs to be in a better place to trade Neviaj there. If he swings off of Neviaj's contact, might be able to get both of the Texas State players, but allows Texas State to reset after getting that first kill and just focus towards the bomb site. And Kenny was the second to fall, and that opened up the entire A bomb site.
I gotta say one other thing I'm noticing about Kenny is I'm not seeing that many assists come out for this guy, and I would really, if you're gonna be dying after your teammate, I would really like to at least see you get some assists on that board to show that you're having that impact and setting up your duelist, setting up whoever is going in for those trades, but it's just not happening. So no matter how you slice it, I think one of the points of exploit for Texas State right now is we see them throwing a lot of utility in towards B. It's going to push back. They miss me. And
high again.
Yeah, a crucial kill onto that Killjoy. Going to once again be rocking Texas State again, and they just look a little bit stunned. Texas State throughout all of Haven, when they get caught off guard, when they don't know what their opponent's going for here, they just allow themselves to crumble, and I'm hoping we don't see it again. We're taking a look back at Lotus with the rotation to C now.
Yeah, rotation to C, and Howard for a second, not there on the bomb site. The recon bolt is going to keep Bolin back, and it's after the fault line, just gonna give out the bomb site. And Spike's going down. Now it's going down, and Miss Me and Kenny are still on A.
That's a call that should have been made if it had not been, or a call that should have been listened to. Kenny, and they miss me. Once you hear that spike, you have to move, and we're seeing that fault line come through, or excuse me, the rolling thunder come through. Huge results coming in, and good kill by Kenny, but it might be too little, too late. It's all up to this one Sky. They don't take advantage of the lockdown though. It's going to be one detained, and Kenny not quite able to play off of it. Instead, they're going to be looking to push into this, but they've given enough time for that breach to come back in. Chief going to be taking the immediate headshot. A couple plays that could have gone better there.
Yeah, that was kind of a mess of a round in all aspects. Kenny was spraying down the back double box on back C there, and actually did connect with Maynard, but didn't finish the kill. So when that rolling thunder came through, Maynard just able to swing out, get a couple kills. Did get traded out eventually by TPing right into Kenny's face, but able to kind of shut down the retake there. And then also kind of curious if Breach got detained for a reason. I'm not going to explain it until we're into this round, but I'll explain it after.
So as we look here, the setup so far being the smokes going out from the defense towards short, towards B, and no surprise when you see they miss me place a smoke, you have to place that, you have to flip that coin as to whether they're inside that smoke with the judge. Exactly what we see there, but I think Texas State are starting to get the vibe there, and with those shots coming through, they miss me decides that maybe they just want to back out. Oh, I believe it's a Bucky, not a judge. Regardless, the shotgun coming through going to be fatal either way if it hits you in the face.
Ooh, can Kai dodge this once it goes out?
Oh,
no. It does.
Yeah, I don't think they needed to. Luke putting them down before the utility even came out from Oker, and now with 3 members remaining for the defense, they miss me. Has to try to pull out the ghost because of that lack of range, and really to go to show you how it suffers. And we're starting to see the rotations come through from that jet. The Sky as well trying to rotate in, but Kenny doesn't quite look like they know where they want to go. They don't know if they want to go through courtyard or back towards B or C link. So perhaps a little bit indecisive for the defense.
Yeah, and this late into the round, you almost know that it is going to be an A finish, and 2-on-5, you kind of just have to make the decision now. Do we want to save the guns? And if we do, where do we want to save? Start thinking about the next round. That was Texas State just able to pick off Howard 1 by 1, able to take the map control that they needed. Now that we are in a post-plant save, I will go back and discuss the lockdown where... So, what's the breach's name again? I am blanking.
For Texas State, the breach was Okerin.
Yeah, so Okerin got detained by the lockdown, but in the safe spot of C long. And I'm curious if that kind of threw off Kenny, thinking that Okerin was in Cubby. Kenny is able to take down Luke. But I'm curious because if there was reason behind it, or if he just ended up stepping into the lockdown, because why not?
I'm going to give a benefit of the doubt to Texas State here and say it was an attempt at a bait, saying, oh, one got detained, I can try to push them down C long, and then the jet just takes the shots. So I'll give him that. I'll give him the nod and the wink.
Big brain, even if it wasn't, but Texas State getting a 5th on the board, so able to recover what was a very disastrous few rounds there, but Texas State able to recover, getting their feet under them and looking strong here on the attack side of Haven.
Instantly, a lot of that visibility being thrown up, choking down on that A. But we're seeing those op shots come out, and it's all doing well to provide Texas State the opportunity to get their teammates wedged in there towards that short, towards that long, if they so desire.
If he gets another one.
They miss me. Certainly going to be hearing those footsteps, playing the patient game, and we know that when it comes to those shotguns, they have the patience.
Yeah, Okran possibly might be keen to it, that it's a possibility. Neviaj and Luke gonna trade kills there.
Oh.
But Miss Me actually is up inside of window now and is hearing all of these rotates coming in from Texas State. And they know that it is going to be a C finish. The bomb is going to go down. It gets traded, but the information's there. The rotates should be coming in, but there is still enough time for Texas State to go back to A.
Yeah, Texas State are going to be running it immediately back once they realize, oh, our rotation probably has been called out. Although I don't know if Howard University would have been making those calls. Ball going to be getting one before Aaron, able to get them taken down and planted on site. This guy immediately peeks onto site and then has to back up, decides, or looked like they may be deciding towards Heaven. Chief, I believe, Aaron as well, both keeping those crosshairs towards that Heaven area.
Yeah.
But it's just going to be the hard back out coming in from Howard before they have to go in for a retake. But that's going to make time play against them so difficult. Resources keep coming in, and Kai able to get one and a pistol onto the next. And Kenny, of course, going to get the defuse just for that extra tick, and eventually those Seekers coming through. Yeah, it's going to be enough.
Kenny? Okay, thank you. Kenny did use his util on the retake. Was able to flash the jet off the Heaven angle. Was able to get Kai in. That is what we need to see more of from Kenny as we get later into this game. Is using that utility. Still, the guiding light was still mistimed. Kai didn't swing for like another 2 seconds after the flash actually went off. So the communication needs to be better on the Howard side, but it is a step in the right direction. And so if we're setting up what seems to be an early grass push with the guiding light, that's what exactly Howard needs to be doing here.
Blinded.
And that's going to be some information gathered. In that courtyard, of course, the callouts are going to be there, at least from Sky herself, saying, hey, there's somebody right there. One member going down for each team. And Howard right now look like they're trying to juggle both lanes at the same time. That's going to be very difficult, and we see it cost Ball in their life. Oh, that's
me again.
Still up. They missed me, able to get one. Teleport, that was
ballsy.
Bold. Yeah.
Miss Me gonna go down after getting one. They could have just played the angle. Kenny and Okran trade dinks.
Right there.
Oh, but a nice little flash coming through. Don't think it caught Luke. Luke a bit too pushed up if I saw that properly. So it was the back flash, not the full. And Kai now going on a little bit of a wraparound here, and we've seen Kai kind of favor those maneuvers.
Early timing here.
Yeah, with the information that's been gathered by their previous teammates, they're going to know that both members are there. Ideally, should know that breach is dangerously low. You want to take care of this Sova, though, because if they just play off site, they have that Hunter's Fury to just throw at you as soon as you go in for a defuse.
Yeah, Kai gonna have to try and move a little bit fast here. Go for a tap early. Try and get the Hunter's Fury out now. I'm not entirely sure if they realize that's what Texas State is setting up for, and time is still ticking, and Kai is not finding anything.
Oh, might be finding Okran a little sooner rather than later. Pulls the corner, does take down Okran, but I think because of the amount of time that took, there's just not an option for even... I mean, they don't even need to use the Hunter's Fury for defuse anymore.
No.
Luke just putting that pressure down means that Kai's going to have to drop the defuse just to get the kill, which means they won't have enough time, but as we see here, Spike is going to detonate successfully. Texas State making it a 4-6 match in their favor.
Yeah, Kai did get that bomb half. Got the spike half. Could have hopped off of it and tried to fight. Had no idea where Luke was. Luke, little bold, not using the Hunter's Fury to secure the round, but trusts his aim enough to play around the timing of the spike. So Texas State gets the 6th on the board, but Howard slowly falling one round by one round.
Or might be the unlucky number here on Haven for Howard, although there's still quite a bit of Valorant to play, so it remains to be seen. Ballin pushing up with the Sheriff, trying to close that gap. Neviaj, maybe not happy, but willing to take some of that damage in order to allow that. And I would assume that the attackers were a little bit comfortable. This is going to be expensive for Howard University. Neviaj taken down. That fault line catching them with their pants around their ankles a little bit for the defenders. And a lot of utility up at C. So with the knowledge that the Jet is at A, I think the attackers might be leaning towards either that A or B.
Yeah, kind of stagnating around the entire map here. Not sure after that early aggression from Howard just how they are set up into this mid round, but Texas State kind of grouping up towards the grass area. Might want to go for a B finish, but not before Chief lurks in and sees what they can find. 30 seconds left on the board, so Texas State does have to get going here as time is starting to go down. Oh. No way Chief gets that kill.
That is unfortunate body shots coming in from that, I believe it was the Jet on the Howard team.
Oh, miss me!
Oh no, gets one more. And that life pool is so dangerously low for this Jet. Perhaps the plant, not as much an option. The teleport tries to come through. The stun still on. Oh, they missed me. No, has to go in for the reload. So unfortunate. And
it has time. It has time. Just. Oh, I don't know why I thought that was Kai. I thought that was Kai.
Oh no. For Howard, Kai still has the opportunity to come in here, but certainly not on the setup they would like. Although that certainly helps to even out the field just a little bit, knowing that there's a low Jet on the board. Kai on the flash and not able to get Akarin though. Hawker going to be securing that for their team when the other 2 remaining members almost had the sand slip through their fingers.
I don't know what to say about that round. That round was a mess. So Miss Me goes unchecked.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow Chief got the flick onto Ballin there to open up the A-bomb site. The open out came out, able to get the bomb down, but Miss Me not being checked gets it down. That round was a mess, man. Anyways, Texas State 7th on the board. Really cleaning it up after what was it, 3-3 score line.
Ooh, and a great start for them a great start for Howard on this 12th round, last round of the half, as we see them take out that Jet. So that entry opportunity from the Jet dash is not going to be as potent this time around, not going to be existent at all, as a matter of fact. And it looks like the defense are content to leave B a little unattended. I would imagine that Jet can hear the Sova Owl drone coming through and might be anticipating a little bit of a push with those smokes coming through as the A-Link smoke dissipates eventually. Wall goes down, and that's probably going to be the execute from Texas State.
Yeah, but 3 very close in A-Link. Oh, but Luke is just going to wipe them. And now it's a 3-on-4. Kenny's going to go down. That's a 3rd for Luke, and we're down to a 2-on-4, make it a 1-on-4, and Miss Me with, lo and behold, a judge has to clutch.
And that is Okran having that read on they miss me, but the teleport out.
No.
Oh, they don't know. They missed me. That was embarrassing. I gotta be honest. No shame, but that could have been a lot cleaner. It doesn't matter though. The swarm grenades coming out going to prevent the defuse from coming in. Manages to pull one off. Peeks through the smoke just a little bit too early, and this half is going to end at a nice cozy 4-8 for Texas State.
Miss Me plays like the omens that I hate in Diamond Ranked. His playstyle is working, but man, is it infuriating to play against. So Texas State, I wouldn't be surprised if they're tilted off of some of the kills that Miss Me are getting, but they do have 8 after the attack side. Looking good on Haven. Howard, they gotta get this pistol. That's all. They need to get some momentum going, and they need it now.
Yeah, they Miss Me feels like the equivalent of that one ride at the amusement park that's like rusted up, but everybody loves it, and it's like you never know if it's gonna break down and swings or just gonna snap off the frame, but you're gonna have a good time, experiencing it, and that's exactly what we're seeing. Howard University going to be utilizing this Viper wall, taking that the A link right towards that A site as the Sky goes in with the spike through that sewer. And right now, so far, the possession of site has been acquired. Okran just backing out towards that long with their jet. It looks like the expectation is not there from Howard. A few caught off guard, but however, able to return fire in a quick enough fashion. Chief taking a couple shots. It's going to make it so difficult to go in again. On this pistol round, I believe that puts him 1 or 2 shots from a classic to immediately in the dirt, even on body. Aaron able to take one ball and tries to go in off the reload. Can't quite get the kill. Aaron hopping up onto the box, eventually taken down. Through a wall bang, no less. Now it's a 2-on-2 type situation. Okran able to take down one. That Omen remains standing, but with no shotgun. Going to make it very difficult. And they Miss Me, not able to deliver it this time.
Come on.
Howard, grabbing some strats from YouTube, I see. Always good to have some pistol strats in your back pocket. That was quite an interesting just round altogether. Just having 2 Texas State players be kind of left out in long while having full A possession. That not something you see very often, but I do like the idea. Howard gonna take a timeout. They probably are trying to discuss whether they should force into this round. They are down 4-9, and if Howard wants to get back into this map, they need something. I mean, they didn't get the pistol. They can save here, but then it's going to be a long uphill from there.
Yeah, and I think that the expectation for them should be to save. If I recall correctly, we saw the save come through them on the first half, or in the first 2 rounds of the first half, and then immediately third round, they're able to come back and hit a lot harder. That's when we saw them actually get that. I believe they got the lead. They got 3-2 over Texas State. I mean, they've had difficulty holding on to that lead as the half went through, but that has truly shown the best way that they can regain that composure. I don't want to see any of the Lotus mishaps that we saw before, where they tried to equate their opponent's firepower. It just didn't work.
Yeah, and if Howard really wants to get back into this game, they really need to try and go for some of what they were doing early on in the defense. They were going for the early aggressions and just kind of catching Texas State off. And I'm curious, they do have pistols, so it is just a full eco. These TPs, man.
I feel like they did the same play, but in reverse, or inverted it. This time they lean a little bit more on the left side of that Viper wall, knowing that breach is going to have to back up and give a little bit of respect to the paranoia. However, one weapon now in the hands of Howard. Doesn't look like they can capitalize too much more. Just that one member in too deep, and the rest of the team really needs to make sure they have the opportunity to push away those remaining defenders. We hear the defuse come through. Not a lot of smoke. The one goes down, and Luke has to make sure they take down Kenny Cosmic. Kenny Cosmic doesn't even bother to pick up the Spectre. That is
and makes the step.
Don't worry.
Ballin should have been able to call out that the spike wasn't halved, that Kenny had more time, and Kenny, I just want to say they panicked, thinking that they were just too far from the bomb, and It's a great eco. It was a fantastic eco from Howard. Don't get me wrong. It could have been a round win, and that could have spiked so much momentum in Howard's favor, fully resetting. And actually, I mean, either way, even though that they lost the round, Texas State is on pistols minus the Spectre, so it is in theory a win for Howard at the end of the day, but it's not a round on the board.
And they need those rounds on the board as we start looking to double digits for Texas State. We're going to be seeing Howard now saddling up here. It doesn't seem like they acknowledge that their oppositions might be a little bit under-armored. Kai trying to exchange the shots with the Vandal. Gets one, but has to turn away, expose themselves way too aggressively to that breach utility. Spike has gone down, so a great opportunity for the attack to really lay some pressure on him. Not sure if Luke got the tag with that owl drone, but certainly did get the information, and hopefully the comms going out as well. Kenny Cosmic playing underneath that tower, just waiting for anybody to drop. Don't think they need to be peering towards They Miss Me. I would like to see them playing for the drop from heaven.
Yeah, Luke able to get ballin'. And Neviaj able to get another. They Miss Me. He's going to get it. It's 2-on-1. Ocarin.
Yeah. That is, that's tough. The kills, the weaponry was looking so there for Texas State, but it just, their post plant did not seem as confident to me.
Yeah, and I think that's partly because of the util that Texas State was throwing out on the retake, able to clear out a couple of the angles that the Howard players were holding, and it kind of staggered them in their post plant to go for those effective trades, and it was really well done by Texas State. Couple downfalls on the Howard side, and now Howard's kind of backed up into a wall. They have to buy here, and I'm not sure if they're gonna have full util. It looks like they do somehow have full utility, but one player on a Marshall, and they're gonna go quick into C.
That information going to be gathered once again from Howard. They anticipate there's somebody on site, but they can't quite suss them out. I believe the backup, the pullback was there. Viper Orb tries to come out, but Maynard throwing in the shots from the Phantom, and now the breach abilities coming through, really just, again, causing so much disruption to this post-plant situation for Howard University, but they're managing to pull their own, they're managing to pull some teeth of their own. They do come out successfully.
Yeah, and that was just great trades coming out from Howard. The aftershock comes in from Ocarin and forces Howard to kind of just swing the angles, and that's what they haven't been doing is swinging, and they swung together, played for the trades, and a couple of them got a couple multi-kills, and that's what Howard needs to do, especially in those post plants, is don't let, kind of, once they start throwing out the util, you gotta let them, like, the util comes out, throw your util back, use it in your favor. Well done by Howard, but still a long way to go.
On the plus side, though, new record for Haven by Howard, so let's go, let's get it. That being said, still quite a few, but Aaron, I believe, caught out trying to place that turret, and Ball able to just pressure up on them, take those knives, and get some kills with them, but it's going to be equalized in a very rapid fashion. Going to be that lockdown immediately taken down, and They Miss Me is going to have the location known by Luke. Luke decided to do the smart thing, backing up, does not want to push up against that Omen, and the Omen's the one who has to make the play here. I think that's going to be a lot harder to do with a judge than if you had, you know, something that could look down some of these longer angles.
Yeah, Omen has the ult, could TP all the way over to A. Not entirely sure where the Texas State players are located, though. Knows that Luke was somewhere around this area. But now they know that both of them are here. He's going to run away. Gets out.
Barely, though. Look at that HP left. It's not going to be... It's not even going to be a question for the side of Texas State. They're just going to see that. The Shock Dart doing about half the health pool from what it looked like on the health bars. And that Omen was not going to stand up to a strong gust of wind at that point. And the defenders coming up now with that match point and making this a game where they just absolutely take it over Howard.
Yeah, we're kind of mirroring Lotus here. We're at 12-5, and Howard is going to be able to get a full buy, so apart from a Bucky, but what else do we expect from Miss Me? So they have a shot. They can get it. They can get this round. They have the weapons and the utility to do it, but they need to open it up somewhere. And Hunter's Fury is going to tag a lot.
It's going to tag a lot. Ball barely able to get out of the way, and they really needed to. I believe they would have been taken down by that final shot had it hit them. Although one member for the defense does go down. It's going to be taken out. It's going to be that Jet taken out on long. Recon immediately destroyed, and Luke on Heaven just looking cool as a cucumber. Literally cool hand Luke there. Ends Maynard able to push up onto long, take down Kenny Cosmic, and only 2 members remain. Miss Me, as well as that Killjoy Kai. We try to come through, find some sort of advantage, but now Kai not even going to have the opportunity to be hidden. Neither will Miss Me, going to be buried 6 feet underneath, as will this game. 13-5 in favor of Texas.
Yeah, and I mean, Texas State they had to just get into it just a little bit, stumbling right at the beginning, but once they got comfortable, they started rolling, and that's what Texas State needed to do, and that's what they did. As for Howard, it's improvement. They did get 5 on the board compared to 4 last week, and I did like what they were trying to do on those early rounds of defense, but it just wasn't enough. Texas State able to just stay more composed, stay and play together more as a team, go for those those retakes, and really put them ahead and made their attack just kind of get to the end. Yeah.
I mean, it just looked very good from Texas State, and I feel like I could go on talking about the things we saw from Howard, but I want to focus on the good here. We did see them improve. There were a lot of plays that I liked seeing from them, although if I'm being sincere, a lot of them were off the back of they miss me, and a lot of them were not so much tactical, but more so chaotic in the context that those plays got advantage because perhaps your opposition wasn't expecting it, or because it's a play that isn't seen all that often and isn't prepared for, or prepped against. I think that if they can find a way to continue either leaning on that chaos and in a way that is consistent throughout the season, or if they start to stabilize their plays and get good at playing, what you might call a little bit more of that fundamental default kind of style, we could really see a sharp upturn for Howard.
Yeah, and if they want to settle into that chaos effect, kind of go with how some of the VCT teams play, and as per called W Gaming, if that's how you want your identity to be, ride into it and make it calculated. You have to make it calculated, though. It's always going to be about being coordinated aggression, not just straight chaos where you're just running with your head cut off. If they can kind of coordinate what their aggression was, which was what was working for them, then I can see Howard really start to gain momentum on some of these teams. But as for now, went in Texas State's favor, so just have to work on it just a little bit more.
Yeah, and a great team to lose to, if I'm being honest here, against the opinion of Howard. Texas State, a very good caliber team. It really lets you know, if you're Howard, where you can make those improvements and where you can kind of cut your teeth a little bit sharper. But folks, we are going to be taking a brief break, so make sure you stick around. We will be right back on the other side. Hello and welcome back, everybody. EGF Valorant Season 5. We are heading into it for our last game of the night here on this channel. It's going to be Bowling Green State University versus you, Cincinnati. Sir Walter and Migs at it again here for the, like I said, the last game of the night, Migs.
Yeah, last game of the night should be an interesting matchup. We got you, Cincinnati, and Bowling Green State. So as we go into the maps, we see that I am... Can you take over for just a second? Yeah, so we got Haven getting picked first, and then we're going into Sunset. Interesting to see Sunset get picked, and then we're ending up with Breeze. Should be a very interesting matchup as we look at the ranks around here, as we see Cincinnati, team full of immortals, going against Bowling Green State, which are like plat average. So we want to see maybe Bowling Green State could cause the upset of the night.
That, I mean, upset of the night is the understatement of the night, Migs. I mean, it's not even disrespectful to Bowling Green. They are just in very, very deep waters here, and you kind of have to acknowledge it. It just feels unfair. I've developed something that I'm considering to be a trait within myself, Migs, where whenever I'm casting, at least one when I have two casts, at least one of them will have Sunset in the map pool. It's been the case for 3 weeks so far. I'm content to see it. I love seeing the new maps. I always talk about it's a great opportunity to see how these teams are kind of creating maps that don't have as much data readily available for them, like Sunset.
Yeah, and unlike for me, it will be my first Sunset cast, so it will be definitely interesting to see how that map will play out. But our first map today is going to be Haven, and as we see, a Cypher is going to get locked in on the Bowling Green State side. So interesting to see how those tripwires are going to be, and those cages are going to be playing an effect into the defensive comp for Bowling Green State. Other than that, pretty standard, only seeing one smoke with the Omen coming out, but the double initiator on defense, interesting, but Bowling Green State might have a trick up their sleeve to use it. Whereas Cincinnati still currently has 5 Yorus.
I mean, to be fair, I think, my prior experience from other games, sometimes, especially in matches where you're kind of outmatched, the composition is not gonna matter. Just play characters you're comfortable with, play characters you think you're gonna get the most value with. Especially with a gap this wide, I'm not sure what the most meta picks would really change here for Bowling Green. So if you're gonna come into this, and you have a character that you want to improve or at least get reps in on, why not go for them? On the other side of the board, we're going to be seeing Cincinnati pick their heroes, very last moment here, but it's going to be that Jet, that Sova, Omen, Killjoy, and Breach to round things off.
Yeah, very standard coming out from Cincinnati at the end of the day. The player to watch, I want to say, is going to be on the Bowling Green State side. Sens on the Jet is the highest ranked player that we see on Bowling Green State. So we want to keep an eye on them if they're playing on the duelist, hoping to try and open up some rounds, get some advantages that Bowling Green State can play around. And then on the Cincinnati side, just playing what I've seen from Cincinnati as just a very standard default T type of playstyle. So we'll want to see how that goes throughout the first few initial rounds, but here we are, loaded into Haven.
Oh, I don't know if we mentioned it here, Migs, and I'll take the blame for that one. It's actually going to be Bowling Green starting off on the defense for all of these maps. So they're gonna kind of be in that more ready to catch situation, which may be part of the reasoning as to why they're going in on this Cypher. They want to get themselves started off in as advantageous a position as possible when it comes to those defense sides.
Yeah, the Cypher definitely good for getting that early information and just being able to just get any information in general, having to shoot those trips in order to get across them as long as you place them correctly or have the camera be able to take a peek at it every few seconds just to see what the attackers are going to be going in. And as you see early round, Cincinnati going to creep up B.
And right now, I like that. Oh, we're actually seeing some trades go back and forth. It's going to be Vulcan immediately taking out No Comply as Taka, who goes down on the opposing side. Fault line goes through, and Jectile there to quick respond off the back end of it. And already we're seeing some very good coordination coming in from this attacking side of Cincinnati. And that is going to be Spike going down, Cypher. Omen going to both be looking to go for the retake. It's going to be a little tough with the numbers, though.
Yeah, 2-on-4. Cincinnati, shades of Howard with that pistol round going through B and then connecting it to A. So, might be a new meta pistol strat, but Vulcan going to get his third onto Puck a Punch, and the Cypher on his lonesome 1v4 Banana Kush all by his lonesome, trying to get something going. Projectile is going to shut them down, and it is going to be a first on the board pistol round win for Cincinnati.
And, you know, with that first round win, usually, well, we would expect to see a second round win come quickly behind it. I'm going to say the same thing I said in our last match. I don't want to see the force up buy coming in from Bowling Green just yet. I think there's plenty of time to go in on that if you feel it's really necessary. You know, you've got at least 3 other half round starts, so I think that they just kind of play this a little bit more standard to what we would expect to see, and that's exactly what they're going for. I respect that.
Yeah, for sure. And as we see going early into this one, very stack heavy Cincinnati going into a long and short, trying to use the guns to their advantage, clear out with the owl drone. Not going to see anything close, and the hit is going to start coming in.
We saw that fault line come in from the breach on the defense, not able to really have any follow-up behind it, just slow down the attackers a little bit. Not going to be trying to pester in heaven. A touch, but not finding too much. And now looking to press their way over towards that A-link area. Puck a Punch holding very steady, turns their back, and perhaps the worst moment immediately gets drilled down. Vulcan coming away with 4 kills, and that Hunter's Fury already on the line.
Yeah, Vulcan getting 4 up to 7-0 after 2 rounds. Vulcan starting off very strong for Cincinnati, but guns coming out for Bowling Green State, so definitely want to see how they're able to react on this bonus round. Maybe use the fault line, do something with that A main control, see the breach setting up for that same exact fault line, and maybe Sens can go for something aggressive, but just looks like the fault line's going to go out early. Not going to do anything off of it, and Cincinnati is going to take early long control.
There will be a bit of information gathered by Bowling Green. Of course, they're going to have that Omen detected projectile. Will be scanned, and that causes them to taper off a little bit. In fact, it looks like the retake is going to go in towards C. Waldy now the one getting their location revealed by that spy cam dart. It's going to be those swarm grenades going out. You have to be very aware of the trips there, and that's exactly what happens. Cincinnati does lose 1 Waldy getting dropped. That means the post plant not going to be as strong with, again, those swarm grenades, that alarm bot potential once the spike does go down. Projectile playing safely in garage, waiting for any of those wraparounds from A, but they're unaware that this position's already been taken. Oh, No Comply doesn't manage to get the sight on the Projectile.
Yeah, Jectile's gun stuck out there, but No Comply not able to spot it, and it's gonna go down, getting shot in the back. Zen's able to get 1 back, but Taka's gonna get 2, and Cincinnati, excuse me, is going to win the bonus round.
Yeah, good opportunity for them since they're going to be walking away with a couple of rifles in hand. It's not going to cost too much else to, you know, purchase everybody who doesn't have one up to that level. But on the other hand, the same can't be said for Bowling Green. We're seeing them really hurt in the pocketbooks. Not going to be on too much other than I see a couple sheriffs, a marshal, a stinger even. That's not the most optimal, you know, weapon loadout.
Yeah, just hoping to get a couple headshots with these sheriffs. Stinger playing up close possibly. Fault line going to go out, but not going to find anything. Cincinnati going to take this early grass control, going into B, and Sens going to get 1, but get traded.
And I mean, you were talking about Sens perhaps being one of the most threatening players on this Bowling Green team, and I think that's exactly what we're seeing here. Spike does go down Puck Punch. I'm not sure exactly how they got into that position, but they do fall on that site, and now it's all up to Kiwi. That smoke about to drop. They looked a little unprepared for the drop, and because of that, the swings were coming through successfully from Cincinnati.
Yeah, it's just an eco at the end of the day, able to get one. Kiwi playing, I guess, an off angle, but no outs, so was committed to that angle no matter what. So Bowling Green State gets one on the eco, but now they're gonna have guns again, so back into the gun rounds. But Cincinnati looking very strong coming out here early.
I would have to agree, and this remains to be seen if it's going to be a continuation of this effort coming through. I do think that we're seeing quite a couple different looks coming out from Bowling Green, which if you watched our last cast, you'll know I'm a huge fan when teams at least change up the strat if it's not working for them immediately. So far, we're seeing that the Cypher switching which site they want to be located on. We're seeing a bunch of trips and cams put onto the A site. So far, it looks like there's not going to really be a sense of urgency yet from you, Cincinnati.
Yeah, and the Cypher moving towards A is going to be good as long as that spy cam stays up and the sound cue doesn't go off. Cincinnati will not be aware that Banana has moved to this bomb site just yet. But as you just heard, the spy cam opens and closes, so they now are aware that at least Cypher is playing or in the area. But Taka gonna go in, spots the dart, and sorry, the tripwire.
Oh, but they dash right into the second one, and because of that, Banana Kush playing from that heaven, able to capitalize, get one kill. Neural Theft is coming out, a very quick ultimate, but requires a dead body, and is perhaps risky to put yourself within that line of sight of the body. Pocket Punch able to get one Jetile, actually getting a kill off the fall damage onto the Jet, I believe.
That was the Cypher, but yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Cypher dropped down after ulting and got punished for it. And then Jetile able to close out the last final 2 kills, gets a 3K on the round, 5 for Cincinnati on the board. If you're Bowling Green State here, playing with just a little half buy, make sure to get guns into the next, but they are kind of playing on the back foot here, and I'd like them to try and take some sort of map advantage. Cincinnati's been kind of just going A long default most of these rounds, and I'm not seeing any sort of counterplay towards the garage or C side. So Sens was able to get one in an earlier round out of garage, but again, Cincinnati just attacking this A bomb site.
Oh, and Taka on those boxes, able to get a shot right into the forehead of No Comply. Not able to dash into that window again. I feel like we've seen that 2 or 3 times, and they haven't been able to get into the window. Doesn't really seem to impact them negatively, though. Sens has the knives out. Looking for some headshots of their own with those knives. Decides not to go for it, instead just makes the pass, tries to go towards heaven, but it looks like the communications are there for you, Cincinnati. The shots are going to be trying to ring through, not quite connecting onto the killjoy, not even a body shot. As eventually you're going to be backing out, and a regroup and discussion of what needs to happen should be communicated with Bowling Green, but it's just not in the cards. Although Sen's able to take down 2 with those knives, a good opportunity, but with them going down, Pocket Punch isn't going to be able to deliver all on their own. Projectile will ensure it.
Yeah, not a bad eco by any means for Bowling Green State. Able to take down 3 guns, force that economy, and force 3 guns to be rebought for you, Cincinnati. They obviously still have money in the bank, but as it stands, not a terrible round for Bowling Green State, all things considered. But now going into this gun round, we want to see something. I want to see this breach activate Sens somehow. I want to see No Comply use the fault line, get Sens into a forward position, and be able to take away some of this map from Cincinnati, because now they are going to be defaulting a little bit more, but want to see Bowling Green State put up some sort of aggression and just some sort of pressure on the Cincinnati.
And quite frankly, I don't know if I see the logic in the A-Link fault line for the breach if there's no setup for it. I mean, it's going to slow your opponents down, but without the capitalization, it just feels kind of like wasted utility. Maybe you can give me some explanation on that in the mid round. But I mean, so far the coordination does not seem there for Bowling Green, or rather, the coordination is there, but it just doesn't seem like they have a plan that really enables it to operate.
Yeah, the utility is good from Bowling Green State, and it's just the execution behind it. They need to have somebody playing in short if they're going to use that fault line and get into an aggro. Just get an early peek going into that fault line, see if you can pick one off, but just haven't seen any of that happen and come through yet for BGSU. But Garage control and C-Long control gonna go to Cincinnati. The attack's gonna come in. Tripwire gonna get Taka as Banana Kush is gonna take one down, and the attack is gonna get stifled a little bit.
And I feel like Banana Kush, I've been, you know, commenting on the utility coming through, but that Cypher, it feels like they always have one of their tripwire spotted, and then just the immediate push from Cincinnati does not anticipate the second one being so close to it. Vulcan trying to go for some shots on top of box, almost takes down the Omen, but Projectile will ensure that the job is done and delivered. In fact, getting no comply as well. It's all up to the Jet, who is on site. They can hear the spike going down, but it is Sens. If there's one player that you want to have still standing, it is going to be Sens. That sonar dart goes out and forces Sens to take the shot, and the knife comes through. No, not like this.
Sens just kind of trapped in a corner, just gets paranoia, had to shoot the recon dart to avoid being pinged, and just not a good situation all around. But I mean, it was such a promising start for BGSU. The tripwire able to get one, and then the follow-up from no comply made it a 5-on-3, but Cincinnati just being able to grind it back, and BGSU just not there for the trades once they were in that advantage, and that causes Cincinnati to be up a 7th round now.
And we have been in the dangerous territory, right? You can lose the first round, you can lose the second round, and you aren't starting to have your mental crack. But once we get into that 6th, 7th round, then things start looking vastly different. Puck a Punch getting hit by the Owl drone, has to use that paranoia just to try to escape. Re-smokes up onto short, but it's too little too late. It looks like Cincinnati is already going to be rotating off and into that C area. That Cypher has to make a rotation, using that camera to spot out.
Not ready yet.
Yeah, camera gets taken down, so the information is that they're at least there, but Cincinnati creeping up slowly onto site. Banana Kush trying to get one, is not going to be able to finish it off, so Dummy able to get the advantage for Cincinnati. Bomb goes down, and it is now a 4v5 retake, and BGSU is a long ways away.
I would have liked to see the reaction perhaps come in a bit stronger once that camera gets taken down, but I mean, I understand there's still the commitment still hasn't been firm there from Cincinnati, so you might not make it. But right now, Cincinnati just held off on that long angle to see, making it so difficult for anybody to get the defuse onto Spike. And with Jectile being the one to hold physically on point, it is looking so strong from this Omen player that one remaining Jet player in Sens is not going to be able to deliver it, no matter how hard they try to clutch at this point.
Yeah, the Rolling Thunder came in and kind of just destroyed any momentum BGSU would have had coming in back into the site. Sens is going to be able to save the weapon. Yes, he does. So Sen's able to bring a Vandal across into the next round. Full buy coming out, apart from a Spectre for Banana Kush, but as Cypher, you can kind of play around the tripwires with a Judge now. So not out of the woodworks yet for BGSU. It is 8-round deficit, but there have been worse. And so for Bowling Green State, it's just a matter of getting that first on the board and possibly getting some momentum behind it. But they need to get that first.
Of course. We now look at these teams heading in here onto this 9th round. And Jectile taking down no comply. Projectile, by the way, has not died yet in these 9 rounds. So I guess 8 if you want to count the ones that have actually, completed here. Has not died at all here, and that longevity on Omen is really going to serve this team well as those smokes continue to be cycled and continue to be able to be utilized. We see that Cloudburst go in from Taka to allow some quick positioning from their team as the spike does immediately follow up. And we see 2 from the defense holding on that A link, and it looks like they're really reluctant to peek through here. Maybe a little bit of timidness now starting to come through from Bowling Green.
Yeah, a little bit, and Waldy is going to follow up on that. Is able to get up Puck a Punch, and is not going to be able to get Banana Kush. Banana Kush able to pick up one. Sens able to get a second. Taka able to trade those out. So 1-on-3 for Sens.
Neural Theft does ping that location of the attacking team. Not really going to matter because it looks like it's going to be another attempt at a save from Sens. Manages to get one the second as well. Sens really... if not in round wins, putting a lot of value in those individual kills. I mean, that's 2 rifles you managed to pull out of the enemy hands that they're going to have to rebuy.
Yeah, if I'm Sens, like, yes, you're hurting the economy of you Cincinnati, where they are forced to rebuy into these rounds, but just I would like to see Sens like call out to his teammates, just be like, hey, like when we retake the site, flash in and have Omen smoke out the main area and have Sens be the point of contact in order to get some of these kills, because he is the person that you need to get back into this round. And I'm just not seeing that right now. Oh man.
No. That is very unfortunate for Banana. Usually they're the ones getting the kills off of the scouting information, but not so the case this time around. That sonar dart going to be revealing them very quickly. Taka stunned out, but doesn't really seem too bothered by it. Again, that breach just seeming like they're throwing in those abilities without the communication, without the coordination from the rest of their team. I bet you Sens would have really appreciated that. No comply. Manages to take out Jectile. I believe that might be their first death of the game. Second, I think, after last round. But now it's 2 remaining members. That Hunter's Fury is up for the Sova. On the defense, we now have to go in for this retake, but you still have that Sova playing long down C with the Hunter's Fury of their own.
Yeah, Flashpoint gonna come out and push BGSU back from garage a little bit, and then Kiwi is going to go down. So 10 on the board for Cincinnati, and this is Jectile is 16-1.
Oh, okay. They didn't die the round before last time. Thought they did.
So Jectile feeling good, Vulcan as well.
Yeah.
The rest of the team's just kind of going with the flow, but BGSU needs to find at least a couple rounds on the board here in these last 2, because if they're going down 11-1, 12-0 going into their attack side, it is not looking pretty for the Eagles on... I actually don't know what their mascot is, but not good for BGSU going into the half.
Well, you know, Eagle sounds nice anyway, but yeah. Waldy getting hit by the tripwire, not able to follow up because Taka immediately rushing down, able to get the kills as effectively as they can, and no comply to breach actually disconnecting. Not sure what happened there. We might be having a technical timeout at some point, but it's going to be the attacking Killjoy throwing in that lockdown, making it all that much more difficult for the defenders to come in, although Waldy, Taka both getting taken down, so with the exception of that breach, things are pretty even in terms of manpower, although, oh no, it looks like the breach is back as a matter of fact. And now Jectile going in with a big paranoia, and no comply trying to operate with that fault line, but just not finding it. Jectile, however, finding 3.
Yeah, brings it up to 19-1 now. Jectile just having a good time out here, and for BGSU, it's just not looking pretty. Sen sitting at 9-9, able to hold their own, but rest of the team just not able to compete with just the strength of Cincinnati's attack. And right now, if I'm BGSU, I mean, I still have yet to see a timeout from them. I would have liked to see it to be honest, quite a few rounds ago by now. But, I mean, just some sort of reset. Just take a breath and try and follow up with, well, the fault line. Omen's going to get close, but not spotted just yet.
And I can respect that they're at least trying to get that Omen a little bit more space. The Omen should have seen the swarm grenade coming out, throws in the paranoia, manages to get just 1, but Jectile taking 2, dummy matching the force that Omen put towards their own Killjoy. Now so that means it's only 2 members remaining against the 4, and this is very quickly going to be looking like a retake for the defense. And we just call it as it is. We haven't seen any successful retakes from this defense once that spike goes down.
Yeah, no, Sens has the knives out, so gets Taka, so there is a way into this round, but Vulcan's going to shut that down right away. And Jectile playing in this hell position as he has been for most of these post plants, able to blind Kiwi back and is going to hold the angle with the one-way now. So Kiwi, I don't see a world where they're able to get back into this.
They do manage to pull 1, but 1 is not nearly enough, and I mean, 1 round win is not going to be nearly enough, and they're going to have to be going into pistols, down 12-0 on the second half. That is, I do not envy BGSU right now.
No, I don't. And I mean, they are on attack, so they can try and overwhelm a site, try and get an advantage that way. But Cincinnati, I have a feeling that they're just going to be playing and rotating to the first contact, knowing that BGSU will probably just run it onto a site. And if you're BGSU, you just got to smoke off the checkpoints, flash into the site, and get the entries, and then just play a post plant, play for the trades. That's all you need to do. Much harder, much easier said than done, but that is Valorant at the end of the day, and they are going to go down C.
And we are seeing those smokes go up, so far, some good communication on these attacks. They haven't taken out that Omen, who is still on site, and the Omen manages to get Sens. That is probably the most valuable player that you do not want to lose there. Vulcan and Waldy both taking one of their own. The cage goes up, making it only a little bit more difficult for anybody else to get the kill onto Banana Kush. But eventually it does get found. That it's going to be the GGs going out, and 1 round into the half, that's going to be all she wrote for BGSU. U Cincinnati comes away very successful here on Haven.
Yeah, 13-0, not the scoreline that if you're a BGSU fan you want to see, but I mean, there is always sunset, and you can just take a deep breath now that this map's over, try and regroup, come into the next map, reset yourselves, and play from there. This map is over. There's nothing to reflect on other than after the game when you guys can go back and watch the VOD and see what went wrong. But if you're Cincinnati right now, you are feeling good, and that's really all there is to say. Jectile 22-3.
Yeah, I mean, those score lines really just kind of speak for themselves. Looking so strong from the side of U Cincinnati. And here's the deal. I'm going to say if they come away with any rounds from Sunset, that is going to be an extreme feather in the cap for BGSU. I mean, obviously, don't go throwing yourself a parade just because you won 1 round, but it's something to look up on, something to say, hey, maybe we adapted enough to finally take advantage of any weakness we can see in Cincinnati. However, folks, we do have a brief break before we take it off to Sunset, so make sure you stick around. We'll see the other half of this game.
Cashed in on my promises. You know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out. 'Cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. A little stronger now.
Hello, welcome back, everyone, from that brief break. Bowling Green State University versus University of Cincinnati. A pretty brisk jog through Haven, I would say, Migs. I mean, 13-0 going in favor of U Cincinnati. Not, I mean, I would say what were the highlights, but for Cincinnati, the whole thing was a highlight.
Yeah, for Cincinnati, especially for Jectile, it was just having fun is what we'll say. And so going into Sunset, being map 2, we want to see some adjustments from BGSU. Can they grab some rounds, maybe get some things in their favor? That remains to be seen, but it's a perfect time for them to reset. And for Cincinnati, just try not to get, let's just say, over too confident here.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned it before the break, but walking away with any round wins that you can for Bowling Green, you're going to feel pretty good about it. This is a team that just numerically, University of Cincinnati, that is just numerically rated higher than your team in every single role. I mean, they're a team full of immortals, and then I think the highest we saw on the other side of the field was platinums, maybe a diamond in there, but
Sense was Ascendant.
okay, that which makes sense because we've seen Sense kind of have those strong performances on Haven, but I mean that's really been the only positive spot. So to see any sort of big turnaround on Sunset, I'm really excited for.
Yeah, and as we get into the game here, as we get into the character select screen, we'll see actually Vulcan is going to lock in a Cypher. But I want to point out on the BGSU side is the possibility of double controller as the Astra and Viper are being hovered, and that might be really effective as a change-up for BGSU, as going into the double controller will really limit as to how fast Cincinnati can really play, because towards the end of Haven, Cincinnati was kind of playing really, really fast and just running down BGSU. So having that Astra to stun and suck and Viper to slow down invulnerable through the wall possibly opens up some avenues for BGSU to fight back and get some rounds on the board. Banana Kush bringing in that Cypher again. And interesting from... as we see the Breach is now a KO from No Comply. So I do like this setup coming out from BGSU. Feels like they can shut down Cincinnati, just slow them down from running into the site as fast as possible. But on the side of Cincinnati, again, we see just very, very standard composition. And they're just going to be taking this one round at a time, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, I've been seeing the ciphers come out pretty consistently from these collegiate teams. I'm assuming it certainly helps for anticipating any wraps through that midsection towards either of the sites, considering how deep those kind of entryways can go with a fairly, open access from the attacker side. So I'm not too surprised to see it, and I think Banana Kush did very well at least catching a lot of the opposition of U Cincinnati off guard with their double trips in particular. It felt so. I think there's some good opportunity here for BGSU to kind of have that work in their favor, since it's something we already saw on Haven.
Yeah, and as we go into the pistol round, we'll see just how they are able to put that to use. And Astra going to be setting up towards the B side of site. Mind you, Sunset is a very small map, so these rounds might get very fast-paced really quickly, depending on how the start of this game goes. And if I'm not mistaken, Cincinnati did pick this map, so it does check out.
Certainly, certainly. I would expect Cincinnati to have those anticipations on a map like this when you're the one kind of making the decisions, making the calls. However, we can now see that the attacking side lining up for that push on to B, and Vulcan going to be getting there first right on that mid. Going to be weakening up the defense. Taka, however, suffering a lot of concussion, a lot of different abilities being pushed onto them. The Banana Kush, again, finding their value in that Cypher, getting 2 off the Ghost, no comply, and that Astra going to be the only ones who remain to be standing. Paka has to try to make something happen with these Nebulas. The spike is down, however, that possession is had by the Astra, and even a kill going in favor of BGSU. This is a great start so far.
Yeah, great start. The trades have been coming in very well for BGSU. The utility has been suffocating a little bit for Cincinnati as they're trying to get into this bomb site. Bomb did go down after that stun came out from Pucka Punch. And now Cypher on his lonesome Vulcan in a 1v2. Trying to pick off no comply, but Pucka just wants to hold this bomb.
30 seconds left.
And that's smart from Pucka. I don't think you try to push into that Cypher. I like the opportunity to play off of each other here. And the barrel of the gun peeking out, Pucka absolutely capitalizing on it, taking down Vulcan. And already, huge fan of Bowling Green. We've already seen the first round go in their favor. We'll chalk this up a giant green check mark on the board here, Migs.
Yeah, I mean, and you saw No Comply very excited to win that round. And BGSU already getting one on the board. Might be able to get a second. Cincinnati might be forcing up into this. Maybe not very happy that they lost that pistol round, but looks like they're gonna think better of it and eco up apart from Vulcan. And for BGSU, it's just a matter of converting on it.
Yeah, absolutely love what we're seeing so far. They're going to be using that Trailblazer. Negate the tripwires that are placed right at the entry of B, the Astra utility as well coming through. Just trying to mitigate anybody. Pucka able to get one in Vulcan. Vulcan, of course, the last player standing from last round. And watch out for this Cypher, because we've been seeing Banana Kush get a couple of good kills each time, managing to get 2 this time before getting cashed out on their own. Now it's the Breach, it's the Sky. Have the opportunity to play off of each other, at least that was the case before Dummy got taken down. That's Kiwi going to be quick to clean up, no comply. Now just going to be walking themselves around. Has that Marshall. Looks like they might be trying to find a better weapon to trade up for, but I don't think they're going to find it.
Yeah, not going to be able to find a better weapon. Just Spectres and Stingers hanging around, so gonna keep on to the Marshall. But BGSU able to get a second on the board, so feeling good. Able to convert on the pistol round win. Now into the bonus. Cincinnati gonna have full guns going into this round. Curious to see. They're going to, looks like they are leaning towards the A side of the map early here. So A site gonna be tested. Sens and I believe Kiwi are over on that side of the map. So gonna be tested on the A-bomb site. Looking like it here early. And
that's, a fair adjustment coming in from the attacking team. If you go to the well twice and it's dry, well, you'll start looking for other wells. It's gonna be these trips coming out just to ensure that there's no deep flanks coming in from the defenders, although that's gonna come into play a lot longer down the line. That Cypher holding that link into mid from B. Just making sure that nobody creeps around any quicker than they like. Sen's able to take down one, and considering that they're on those SMGs, not a bad opportunity here. Taka able to take down that Viper, and I believe the opposing Rays did peek from that tunnel area, but just wasn't quite able to connect, had to back off, and is now waiting for the regroup. That information going to be gathered from the Blinding Light, and Vulcan, with waiting arms, takes them down in a quick fashion.
Yeah, 2-on-4 for BGSU. Great attack. Getting into the bomb site. Taka is going to delete Banana. 1-on-4, and Vulcan's going to get his third on the round. So, bonus is not going to happen for BGSU. Cincinnati able to get one on the board, but now BGSU coming in with full Vandals. So, full, even weaponry going into round 4.
And I'm not sure if we are projectile. I'm not quite sure what they're going to be cooking with in terms of their armory. I imagine they buy up here. It'd be a little ridiculous if we didn't see them do that. But once again, another lineup for that A site. And Kush trying to get the lineup set here, but decided against it instead. It's going to be the immediate place onto the ground. But it's not really going to matter in the immediate as we're seeing the attacking Cincinnati. go in through that, or towards that A side, I should say. That Viper wall going to be bisecting at least both entry points onto A, so might make it a little bit more difficult to either have to deal with the Viper or deal with the Cypher. And so far, I think Cincinnati are going to be content to go with the Viper. They've had a little bit more success so far.
Yeah, a little bit more success, and Kiwi is going to be able to get out of there, but Cincinnati encroaching on the A site. Not that heavily defended. Kiwi is going to go down, so Taka able to open it up, and Cincinnati should be able to get the bomb down, and it is now a 3-on-5. Banana Kush able to get 1 3-on-4. So 3-on-4 retake for BGSU.
Yeah, with all the information gathered from that Cypher neural theft, they know that everybody's going to be playing roughly around site, maybe one a little bit off towards that elbow area. And Banana Kush right now slowly creeping their way up, and I want to see this raise. I want to see Sen's weight. Banana Kush and Sen's some of the most powerful members of this team. Banana Kush able to take down one Injectile before Taka eventually buries them in a similar raft, and Sen's going to be taken out before the fault line even hits.
That's a crazy shot by Waldy.
Yeah.
Yeah. BGSU, I mean, Sen's sitting in the back of A main there, like, just couldn't be, like, he was getting flashed off, he was getting flashpoint off the angles, just couldn't get back in with his teammates, and they really, Cincinnati was really making sure that the retake was really staggered there. BGSU not able to convert on the retake, is going to come down to an eco Bucky and some pistols. Cincinnati coming into some early B aggression.
Oh, and the Trailblazers going out, yeah, just to try to get that information on the opposite side of the Nebula. Pucka having to back off. Oh, has to be very careful here. Has to play close with the Bucky, but can't do it if they're constantly being pushed back by all this utility. And with that, eventually Cincinnati's going to decide that the juice just isn't worth the squeeze on that one. Vulcan throwing the cage right over the Viper, and the Viper actually hasn't even noticed. The neural theft is going to come through. Everybody's going to be revealed to be nowhere near A. Just going to be a quick flood from the attackers onto site. Now, I expect to see the retake come through, but not for Banana Kush.
Yeah, Waldy getting that long eagle. Vulcan is going to get a second, and retaking is hard on this map. That is one thing that I do know. And BGSU just don't have the weaponry. Dummy is going to get a third one at that angle. And it's left to Kiwi in a 1-on-5. And Jectile is going to get him.
Yeah, I believe Kiwi just going in with that classic. I mean, it was a round where we just didn't see the firepower coming through from BGSU. No kills there, but I would say no surprise either. I mean, it's so difficult with just the range difference, the ability to the purchasing power literally coming through from Cincinnati. Just you can't account for it on top of how good of a team they are.
Yeah, and as if we look into the ultimate economy, we have, for Cincinnati, 3 ults. We have the Showstopper, the Wall, and Sky's ult. I forget the name.
Cabbages.
Cabbage, yeah, the Cabbages.
The Trailblazers. Seekers.
Yeah, the Seekers. So 3 ults for Cincinnati, so should be able to use that. Sky gonna use her Cabbages to get in. Gonna spot out Astra going back into garage, and Banana is gonna die to the Showstopper. So ultimates being used by Cincinnati to secure the bomb site.
Yeah, and both Cyphers early on going to be dropping as the first kills, and that's a Kiwi just having a tough time. Flash after flash right into their face, bullied into the corner there, and now we're starting to see the attackers have the liberty to play off-site a little bit, and that really puts Sens in a difficult spot. They can't peek out through this angle. Their location is going to be revealed by the breach. They're just pretty much pinned down in one area. Dummy not taken out. I mean, there's so little you can do with the double peaks from that spawn angle. So difficult. Injectile is certainly going to be happy licking their chops at that kill.
Yeah, the communications there from Cincinnati, just able to lock down Sense. It's either you're going to run away or you're going to run into a triple crossfire. So Sense takes the approach of dying, and BGSU is going to be relegated down to pistols yet again. It was a promising start, but yeah. Cincinnati getting their feet under them, and it's looking very comfortable for the side of the Wildcats.
Oh, so far, no complaints or no disagreements here on that. We're seeing BGSU get very aggressive up center. Not going to be able to find too much, though, except for a loss in their companion, no comply. We're starting to see them branch out a little bit. They're trying to take that map control, and the attackers actually aren't too quick to move on this. I'm not sure if they just didn't get that information for the team moving. Waldy might get caught out here. Does so by Kiwi. It's a great opportunity to back up, decide to just respect that space, especially with the Cypher cam right there, but they're respecting the wrong space. The attacking team now pushing all the way up onto A site with just the raise to potentially catch him.
Yeah, I mean, 4-on-4, I mean, Sense is on the bomb site. Cypher does have the spike, so could get hit to go down, but Vulcan going to get that kill, secure the bomb site, and BGSU...
Spike planted.
The last two players are not very close.
No, they are in a tough spot without Cypher cam, without... well, I mean, they're not on the advantageous side of their own Viper wall. Genetica's trying to jump over that tripwire, but their Viper just not going to even give them the chance. Kiwi saying, no, we'll not do that. It's going to be the read out there for the cam, trying to find if anybody's creeping down those angles. Banana Kush ready to turn the boxes. Does get one, though, in Vulcan. That is a very opportunistic kill. The Satchel's coming out, and Taka almost not looking like they know where they want to make that contact, but Dummy certainly has their back.
Yeah, Taka just using the Satchels to just kind of mess up Banana's aim and allow for Dummy to get the kill. And so 5th on the board for Cincinnati, and kills spread out pretty evenly across the team. Banana coming the front runner for BGSU, and we've seen their name in the kill feed quite a lot in these two maps, so doing very well on the Cypher, but it's not leading up to rounds, and unfortunately just BGSU just needs to just try and just get a couple more of these communicative trades, and Sense just going down 1-for-1 is not going to be what BGSU is looking for.
Yeah, it's really not. It's going to be so difficult, and Kiwi going to be spotted out by Wall.
There's no outs.
Oh, and then the fault line comes in, hits them hard, and then Dummy hits them just a little bit harder. The Vandal bullet to the dome. And now 3 members remaining of the defense. That Guiding Light's actually going to be hitting the KO all the way towards that defender spawn. And now a wraparound coming in once again for the attacking team onto A site. The defense, they take a couple losses, and then it feels like they really kick it into reverse and back up and kind of wait to react to the plant.
Yeah, and if I'm on the BGSU side, I understand, you know, you're losing a couple players and, you know, feeling like you have to kind of retreat and try and defend the bomb sites as well as possible. But you want to try and go for map control and try and take away and shrink the map just a little bit, but Banana gonna be able to find Waldy, and it's a 2-on-3, but still got the Rolling Thunder and the Dividing Wall to on Cincinnati's side, but neutral threat gonna come out.
Yeah, watch out. Projectile will be looking to hold that angle from the corner pocket, waiting for perhaps the opposing Astra to push in here. Not going to be a factor, though. Vulcan, a simple one tap to the skull, puck a punch, eventually done. Banana Kush trying to make a comeback, but you can only do so much against the 2 remaining members, Dummy and Projectile. We've seen how both of these players can kind of put up a good performance.
Yeah, and I mean, again, Banana Kush, I mean, they are holding their own. They are doing very well against this very stacked Cincinnati team, and it is letting BGSU get close in some of these rounds. Sense, as Rays needs to step up just a little bit, try and find some more openings. They are trying to go for the openings, but are getting shut down right away with these one-for-one trades or even 0-for-1. So I need to see some communication between KO and Sense in order to try and open up and allow for a retreat to get that advantage. But Cincinnati 5 stacked into this B main.
Going to be Rolling Thunder coming through. The Astra, I believe, makes it out. The Cypher does not. That cage, the only thing that's trying to keep them up. It's going to be the tripwire catching the opposing Cypher, but it doesn't really matter. Nobody's on site to capitalize on it. Now, like the flood, we're seeing Cincinnati rush on to point. The blinds coming out. Sense has to take a breather, take a moment waiting to push in with Pucka. Doesn't quite get the shot onto the Cypher. That could have been crucial, and it proves to be nothing instead. Now, just waiting for those abilities to come up the cage. Now going to give them a little bit of room to operate, but they still have to be very careful. One kill will go their way, but they can't quite connect onto the breach or the Cypher. Now it's all up to Kiwi, waiting for that Nebula to drop. Gets the headshot, but it's not going to quite be enough. Vulcan's Classic, however, will be.
Yeah, 7 on the board for Cincinnati. And again, BGSU, that round, the Rolling Thunder kind of pushed them off the site, and they weren't able to stop Cincinnati from coming in. There wasn't any utility to just slow them down by any means. What I will say is I have not seen a single 0 point from No Comply. Am I wrong in saying that? I feel like I've never seen any suppresses coming in on the Cincinnati side. And
I think you're right.
And I need to see No Comply use that, especially like when Cincinnati is stacked up like they are right now, 4 in mid. Using that 0 point and getting the information and relaying that to your team is significant info that they need, as Cincinnati's just crawling up mid, no problem.
And I mean, I was going to give them credit for this, but I'm glad Bowling Green stopped putting that one player right at the center like pile at mid, because it just felt like they got hit by the breach every time, then immediately collapsed upon, because there's only so much reaction time you can have. Nanakush going to be in a tough spot, but able to get 3. A huge cleanup for the judge. Everybody hopping onto the tripwire at once, almost daring to see who gets detected on that one. But Nanakush going to come out the real winner there. 3 kills in their favor. Now numbers up for Bowling Green, something we haven't seen all that often.
He still has the 0 point.
0 point and the ultimate. Able to see the barrel, though, just in time. Dummy taken down. Projectile, though, I feel like there was just a little bit of mistiming there, and the abilities come out. Bowling Green getting another one, 3-7, and I think that's pretty fair given these teams.
Yeah, I mean, great round. The double setup in mid for Banana Kush and the Astra. I'm forgetting the name. Pucka, yeah, Pucka. Double setup was really good. Dummy did really well to get both of them and able to flick onto Pucka and make it a sort of even situation for Cincinnati down in a 2-on-3. But BGSU able to close it out. 4 ults on the board currently, and this round could have a lot going on.
It could. We're already seeing that Viper's Pit come out early from the side of Bowling Green, and that potentially could be, you know, a deterrent for the attackers to go towards that A site. A nice flash coming in from No Comply, but it doesn't. There's no capitalization, and I feel like we've been seeing that consistently from No Comply. Want to be the packages coming out, not able to be followed up with immediately, because it would require going into that Viper's Pit. Kiwi trying to hold within it and be as much of a deterrent as possible, but we're seeing the attackers slowly start to swarm the outside of that pit. It's going to make it so much harder for Viper to survive.
1 enemy remaining.
Yeah, and now Cincinnati knows it's just Kiwi in the pit. They're just going to go for the kill. They do not care at all, but Kiwi is going to get 2.
Oh, no.
Dummy able to close it off with the classic. Interesting finish to that round, but Cincinnati has the money, and it's going to be just a rebuy for them. And for BGSU, we do see Sens coming out with the op, so a little bit of a change up. Pucka on the Bucky. Banana, not sure what they want to buy yet, but if BGSU is able to get a 4th on the board, I think they can come out of this half looking extremely happy with how this map plays out normally.
I think so. I'm going to be honest. I think that Cincinnati just kind of started to let their foot off the gas. They stopped showing a little bit of respect to their oppositions in Bowling Green, and that's why they all kind of just dove in there onto the site. It's going to be the Neural Theft coming out now for the 3 remaining members on Bowling Green. No Comply trying to make these shots connect, but just not hitting them whatsoever. But we did see.
Hey, 4 were suppressed. 4 were suppressed. That's all we care about.
And
Banana's gonna go down.
Yeah, not gonna be able to do anything against that Nebula. Not suppressed long enough, it seems. Pucka Punch having to just stand here all by themselves. Potentially does get hit by the Rolling Thunder and then hit by a tripwire immediately afterwards. So even the retreat pattern. Oh, I'm seeing a pack of dogs come for this Astra. And able to get 1-2, but that's going to be about it. Waldy with the classic. Everybody else going for the knives.
Yeah, ends up being a 3-9 scoreline in favor of Cincinnati, but BGSU able to get some rounds on the board, so definitely improvement over Haven, and they can look coming into this attack on trying to ride at least some of that momentum, understanding that Cincinnati does bleed, so they can take that and come into this pistol round. They won the first pistol. They win the second pistol. We're looking at a 5-9 if they're able to follow up on the anti-eco, and that's a much more manageable scoreline.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it puts you, I mean, not necessarily within spitting distance, but certainly within throwing distance of being tied and eventually, you know, leading in these matchups here. But we can see now the attacking side for Bowling Green have an opportunity to see how they want to navigate these. Dummy now going to be looking to buy an aggressive amount of space. Taka's going to be getting Kiwi with that paint shell, and Vulcan just chilling on site in their camp, while the rest of their team just, you know, was a little bit hunter mode. Banana Kush going to be throwing down some tripwires, but then immediately just walks within the line of sight of them, making it a little less effective, and it all remains up to that KO. No Comply able to get one, but Dummy quick to follow up.
Yeah, Cincinnati dictating the pace on the pistol, wants to make sure that the same thing doesn't happen that happened to them in the first half. So able to secure the pistol with some aggressive play, paint shell, and the follow-up by Taka was definitely a deciding factor into getting that early 5-on-3. And now Cincinnati in the driving seat, hoping to close out this map relatively quickly. BGSU, they got to find, they can find a way. But it's still a long, long road ahead.
And they can find a way, but they're really going to have to put in some work here. And I'm not doubting them. I'm just saying it's going to be a flex that, like, I don't think we've seen from them quite yet. They might pull a muscle is the point I'm trying to get at here. But so far, No Comply. Trying to navigate around these tripwires, but eventually just decides they want to take it out. And Vulcan, quick to respond to that tripwire taken out. Cypher does eventually go down, and Kiwi taking a little bit of a walloping off the back of that paint shell. Taka not able to find too many kills, does get one
Banana
off the
again.
judge. And yeah, I mean, Banana, I mean, I feel like that's one of the most consistent players on Bowling Green so far.
Yeah, I mean, Banana's pulling their own weight, trying to... They just need to get sense into it, and then we just go down the line from there. Kiwi, not doing too bad. I still want to see more from this KO. I've not seen enough from the 0 points, from the blinds, I mean, we saw one null command, which truthfully did really well with the Viper's Pit, but I mean, they just got suffocated from the outside of it, and I just want to see more activation from the KO.
And I don't know if I mentioned this previously, Mig, so forgive me if I did, but that's the same breach we saw on Haven that just didn't seem like they were syncing up too many of their abilities with the communication and the rest of their team, and I think that's indicative of the mentality that Bowling Green might be suffering through right now. Taka trying to peer a couple shots in with the judge at dangerously low HP, but they're able to pull back even one more against No Comply, so no more abilities coming from that KO, even if they wanted to. The attackers now looking like they're leaning up on that entry to A, but Vulcan taking down Kiwi. Taka on the wraparound with Sens, and now all of a sudden man advantage is no longer had by the attacking Bowling Green.
Yeah, Vulcan just closing out the rest of the map just instantly, knowing that BGSU went all in into that A corridor, and now Taka does sit with low HP, so does Vulcan actually, so Banana does have a chance in this round, but still long ways to go. 1-on-3, bomb is down, being held by Jectile, and 30 seconds remaining.
30 seconds
And
left.
Jectile is keeping eyes from that spawn entry, but not necessarily from this. Oh, it looks like they start finally kind of alternating their sights here, but what's the Cypher going to do? Oh, the timing as they check at the a very inopportune moment, but that is going to give information to the two remaining members, and the plan has to go down fast. There's very little time for Banana Kush to actually put themselves in too advantageous of a position. They do have that health pool advantage, however, One gets taken down. The plant can come quick, maybe with just enough time. It does. Vulcan, 32 HP, has to deliver against Banana Kush. Sees the camera come out. Banana sees Vulcan.
Banana Kush.
What a good player coming in. What a good play coming through from Banana. The clutch couldn't have happened more perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, Banana is just putting BGSU on their back right now. What a fantastic play. Playing methodically, clearing out the angles, retrieving the spike, and understanding that still had enough time with where he's running down on the spike to get off it and still have time to get the plant down. Great execution by Banana Kush, able to get 4th on the board for BGSU, and maybe that sparks momentum because Cincinnati, now they're on pistols.
Certainly some swing back possible from Bowling Green, and the defenders actually looking to take up quite a bit of space on that B zone. Sense has to get pushed back by the paint shells, and the defenders also kind of retreat, make their way back. They decide they don't want to get too heavy into it, and we're seeing an over vulnerable A site right now. It's going to be the neural theft coming out as well, so if the information is there, the attackers might just push straight on the site, especially knowing that the sky is not going to be covered by the rest of their team. It's going to be the spawn, but they don't bother to push in. They decide they just want to take possession of that site. I don't fault them for it. They have the numbers advantage, and they can get Banana Kush set up nice and cozy with their utility.
Yep, Banana Kush able to hold the long angle, able to call out any Cincinnati players who might be trying to retake from Platt, but Sens is able to take down another one, 3-on-5. I don't see a way that Cincinnati can get back into this, but never say never. Kush.
Oh, Kush playing so dangerously close to Taka, and eventually the cage drops and the kills are there. Love seeing it, that Astra. Not sure if it was communicated or known that Jectile is hanging up around the cage. Jectile able to take down Banana Kush, perhaps getting a little bit too big, but no complaint. They're quick to trade on the other end of that Astra. So 4 members remain standing, and I mean, yeah, we mentioned it was a pistol round, but still, you're gonna have some good mindset for Bowling Green.
Yeah, and I mean, Bowling Green, they're able to take a couple of these rounds convincingly, and they can start working on some of that. I say convincingly, it was a 1v3 from Banana and then an anti-eco, but it's a start. And if you want the road all the way back, there's always a way that it has to start. And with this momentum that they have, Cincinnati's going to want to shut it down with the showstopper, so going to fall back. But Taka's still able to find Kiwi.
Vulcan actually had some really awkward timing there, not able to get Pucka on that Astra, but will now be wrapping around, and Pucka able to turn and get the kill. That is just very unfortunate for Vulcan.
Banana 1v3.
And we've seen it happen before here, Migs. Let's not count anybody out yet. But that being said, Spike not possessed by Banana. They have to be the aggressors in this situation.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of time on the clock to work with, but I don't think Cincinnati's going to make the same mistake. Dummy is just going to take the head off Banana, get Cincinnati onto map and match point. 12-5 to Cincinnati, and Dummy is 16-5, so taking Jectile's place in this map.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that nobody's going to be really disappointed about not being top board with Cincinnati. I mean, they're not even from the fact that, like, oh, they're just winning, so they're happy. These scores are all still really close. I mean, it's, 4 kills from bottom to top for that team. It's pretty evenly distributed across the board.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And yeah, for sure, Cincinnati, nobody on that side is upset with how they are playing right now. BGSU looking to creep into A. Both walls are going to come out from the Astra players, and BGSU is not aware of just how many players are on the flank. They are going to get the bomb site, but are they going to be ready for 5 Cincinnati players coming through A main?
I don't think there were any Cypher trips set up, so we don't get the opportunity to see, or they don't get the opportunity to detect at least one of them. Dummy, Waldy, Jectile all going to be getting one. Jectile taking down their counterpart after it's all up to Sens, who is in a brutal spot. That defuse is going to be coming through, and that's going to be a GG coming in from all sides. You, Cincinnati, coming up victorious over Bowling Green, but Bowling Green, a much better look this map.
Yeah, Bowling Green definitely put up a lot more of a fight, especially with the skill rank distribution that we saw. And I mean, Sunset looked a lot better, and it was Cincinnati's pick. So definitely some positive things for BGSU to take out of this map. And so definitely a bright spot for BGSU and taking pride in the amount of rounds that they were able to take off.
Oh, absolutely agree here. Bowling Green, I think, has really nothing to hang their heads about in shame. I think that, like I said, numerically, you were going to struggle. You were probably not going to come out victorious, but I think you put up a great showing. You showed the other teams that we can take a couple of games or a couple of rounds off of these higher table teams, and more importantly, if these teams are very concerned for standings, those round wins do come into effect and do consideration as we start to look towards the end of the season. So definitely going to be something that they're happy to get 5 with rather than a big fat goose egg of 0. So I think Bowling Green definitely going to be satisfied. However, folks, we are not quite done despite the maps being over. We are going to be having a quick interview on the other side of this break, so make sure you stick around. We'll be right back.
Find the right words, and there's no way this is real life. There's no telling you're the right girl, so I can only say that it feels right. It feels right. It feels right. Yeah, I can only say that it feels right. It feels right. It feels right. Yeah, I can only say that it feels right. Had a doubt, felt like this is just a must. Put me in perspective, I'm the deepest in the cut. Everybody tuning in, but this is just for us now. We know I ain't ballin' yet. Hoes wanna holler, oh no, I don't call them back. Girl, let me see you hold it down, we gon' have a blast. Cause I just wanna know what you gonna do with all of that. Ain't gotta say a word, I know what's up. You can have it all, watch me rip it off. I'll admit it, you got me feeling hella loved. Even when it's going down, know that we gon' live it up. Young shot caller, always been a baller. Know that you the one, I can feel it in my heart. Yeah, I won't stop charging me, go and come harder. I can see you and I, way beyond the stars, girl. I can never ever find the right words, and there's no way this is real life. There's no telling you're the right girl, so I can only say that it feels right. It feels right. It feels right. It feels
show up in the party, flyer than everybody. We show up in the party, flyer than everybody.
We show up in the party, flyer than everybody. We show up in the party, flyer than everybody. We show up in the party, flyer than everybody.
show up in the party. We 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 show up in the party, fire than everybody.
We show up in the party, flyer than everybody.
We show up in the party, fire than everybody.
We show up in the party.
We show up in the party. We show up in the party.
Hello, folks, and welcome back. And if you missed it, you missed a very entertaining Sunset BGSU versus U Cincinnati. U Cincinnati coming up victorious. And to round things off, of course, we are going to be stepping from our casting booth into our interview booth. Trust us, it looks the same. Massively different. We will be here with a Crook. Crook, I believe the role is coach for U Cincinnati. Am I correct on that?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Love having you. Hello, welcome, and a big congratulations to you and your team.
Thank you.
Now, I want to ask, I guess I have a two-parter question. Is Bowling Green a team you kind of looked into? You kind of, do you do a lot of like your pre-search on these teams here at EGF, or was this just a team you kind of just went into a little bit more casually, a little bit less rigidly, I should say?
Yeah, so we approach all of our games the same, right? The goal is always to play our game, right? We don't want to be, obviously, right, when we're looking at more competitive games, no offense to BGSU, they put up a pretty good showing on Sunset, right? When we get into those more competitive games, we're going to want a little bit of an edge. So yeah, there's a little bit of work that goes in behind the scenes, but other than that, we go in, try to execute our game plan, make them react.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so to follow up on that with the amount of preparation, how does a preparation week look for you guys going into these games? How do you guys prepare and practice throughout the week?
Yeah, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, that's our main practice days. Right now, we're kind of developing the whole playbook. A lot of it comes down to we were based off Premiere, just practicing each map in order. And now that Premiere is kind of taking the backside, we're focusing on, hey, what's our insta bans? All right, we're not going to play that. So let's focus on building the strat book for all of the other maps.
Cool. And I guess for Cincinnati as a team, how does the dynamic feel within a team going into these matchups that are, I guess, a little more one-sided towards you guys? How are you as a coach able to keep your team composed from not, I guess, overstepping the mark?
Yeah, so every round we lose, right, there's always something that we can improve. Anytime you lose a round, there's something you did wrong in order to lose that round. So just kind of letting them understand, like, hey, the goal is to get as many 13-0s that we can in the season, right? That's always the goal, perfection, right? But when we miss that mark, hey, what did we do wrong? How can we fix it, right? Because, we want to win it all.
Well, I mean, when it comes to winning it all, you guys obviously coming up very big, very successfully here today. I'm sure a coach would always say, there's always things we can improve, but I definitely think that U Cincinnati going to be should be very happy with the results that came out here today. And once again, a big congratulations. But before we let you go, Crook, do you want to give you the opportunity for any shout outs that you might have, friends, family, players, teams? You have the mic.
Thank you. First shout out, right? I want to shout out my fiance, Kylie. Thank you for watching in the Twitch. But other than that, I want to thank my team, right, for listening, trusting in my calls, giving me the floor and letting me take it. To Twitch chat, right? All of the people out in Twitch chat, and then also to you guys, right? Big thanks to you guys for making all of this possible.
Fantastic. Love hearing it. And you guys put on a great show for us. So once again, in case I haven't said it enough times, Crook, to you and your team, a big congratulations.
Thank you.
And with that, folks, we are about ready to wrap up our third week here at EGF Season 5 for Valorant. Migs, before we head off, I mean, it's the first time we've cast together. Any final thoughts? Any highlights from today? What you got for us?
Yeah, I mean, I loved what we saw from each of the teams. There were on the teams on the losing side, there were things that improved throughout each map from map 1 to map 2, and that was really impressive to see, to have that mental fortitude to go into that. And for our winning teams, just taking care of business. I mean, they did a great job at going in, playing how they wanted to play, and according to Crook, listening to his calls. So definitely something to look forward to going into these following weeks as we see these teams match up more and more.
Absolutely. You mentioned the following weeks. I'm more and more excited to get deeper